Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Jinx, the superfood-powered dog kibble everyone's been talking about. See the results for yourself and try their 1-month transformation. Within the first few weeks, you'll see how Jinx can help with your dog's energy, mood, and even digestion. And it's all thanks to the high-quality ingredients they use, like organic chicken, Atlantic salmon, and grass-fed beef. Try the 1-month transformation today. Find Jinx in your local Walmart.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows, but also bonus episodes each month. But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
Because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/bloodyhappyhour.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody happy hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is your Bloody Happy Hour Thursday edition.
It's Thursday, we're thirsty, and we need the murder, we need the blood. What's going on?
It's time. I feel like it's been a whole week.
I do too. I do too.
It has. We're going to Idaho today, but I don't think it's time yet. We got a little housekeeping to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a dog story for all of our dog lovers?
Yeah. It's just a story that I heard about a friend's dog. So I was gonna.
What is it?
I'm going to tell you about it, but I don't know if we'd better help before or after the story.
I don't know.
Probably before.
Okay.
Let's just prepare the people.
So, Bloody Happy Hour fans, the show is brought to you by BetterHelp. You know what that means?
That means...
let me find the right page. That means that, you know what? It's 2024. It's a new year. It's time to crush some goals and start therapy, because you know why? Therapy helps you find your strengths, and it helps you ditch those ridiculous, extreme New Year's resolutions that you're going to fail at anyway. So don't be a failure at life. Just go to therapy so your therapist can tell you what you're going to flourish in.
Yeah, unless, maybe we've experienced like a bad therapist before.
I have actually.
Yeah, and so, this is a great time to, if you're thinking about starting therapy, to give BetterHelp a try. It's online completely. It's convenient, flexible. It can be suited to your schedule. You have to fill out a short questionnaire. You'll get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. I mean, you can't lose with BetterHelp.
And it's so easy. You just go to betterhelp.com/bloody. That's the most important part. and you get a 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bloody, BLOODY.
You're welcome. So, I have this friend who told me about her dog ate like a Delta 9 like brownie thingy, like cookie, which
Explain.
is like, so there's like, I don't know, it's like
It's
a
a
weed
gummy.
it's like a weed.
THC.
Yeah, there's like traces of THC, but it's like sold in, you could
Oh,
you can
yeah.
still get it from the store.
Like here in Texas where...
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
So it was like this maybe the whole thing was like the size of a Snicker bar, and there was maybe a quarter of it that was left.
Oh,
Well, their dog got onto the table and got the brownie,
Oh, I need to know what's
cookie.
going to happen.
and so the girl wakes up in the morning and the dog is not in the bed with her, and she's like, "Where's my dog?" And she goes and sees the dog on the couch, sweating, had thrown up, was like, "What is happening? What's wrong with you?" Goes outside, finds the wrapper of the cookie completely emptied and eaten. Her dog is stoned. Stoned. The dog cannot pee because the dog falls over. The dog is like high as hell, got the munchies, is like wanting to eat all the food, then like gets these like spurts of energy where he's like sprinting around and doing circle, like just sprinting like crazy.
Oh my goodness. Poor
And
Jax.
the-
Is said girl named Caroline?
I don't know. The friend is so what? Tell me all this
You
stuff.
may not
The
want
dog. It's not me.
to... I'm calling
It's-
ASPCA.
I'm just telling you about an experience to just prepare, like warn everybody, like, hey, make sure you put your gummies in a safe space or in a safe, I guess, so your dog won't
Oh my
get
goodness.
it and get so stoned. And like the dog's mouth was like hanging open.
Did you have to like look up or call
The person,
poison? I mean, did the person have to call poison
the person
control?
reached out to their vet, and the vet was like, as long as he's responsive and does not vomit anymore, it's gonna be okay. And so the dog did not do that. Then the dog like slept the whole day, and then finally went to the bathroom around 4:00 in the afternoon.
Like pooped it out or peed it out?
Peed and pooped, but like as the dog was like eating or drinking water, like he couldn't control, like he would drips, like pee drips was coming out because he couldn't, I don't know, like there was like you can't control your
What?
I don't know why, because the vet did say that there could be some urinary incontinence.
Like incontinence?
So dogs get stoned and then they sleep really hard, but the person felt very, very, very bad for the dog because the dog was real dizzy and could not even, on a walk. You take a dog on a walk, it pees on every single thing.
Yeah.
The dog could not even pee because every time it lifted a leg up, it would try to fall over. Who is this? I hope this person does not watch other people's dogs. ever.
I hope. This person is not a dog sitter.
No.
Somebody told me that my dog needs THC gummies, but they sell them at PetSmart or CBD or something.
Well, you know, you could.
There's dog
It's
something.
just, yeah. But this was
For humans?
and this was a very strong.
Oh, so this person's owner is a pro at Delta 9.
No, the person, it was given to that person by a friend. They had brought it over there like, oh, hey, and then like left it there, and so then that person felt real bad, but it's all good in the hood, and the dog is fine and thriving, and he's
This
back to
had
his.
to have happened in the hood.
He's back to his normal life, and he's loves everything about life.
I bet he does.
And he's still trying to get up on the counter and get stuff.
Well, and part of it is chocolate too. They can't even have
Well,
chocolate.
it wasn't chocolate. It was just like a cookie.
Oh, okay.
Like it was like it wasn't like a Snickers like that. But this dog has had plenty of chocolate chip cookies. He's had a payday. He's had protein bars because he steals things from the counter. Allegedly. That's what I was told.
Wow.
So there you go. There's your update on anybody's life.
I'm
that
sure.
would be a friend of mine's life.
Sure DPS.
I'm sure that's, DPS.
Going to be knocking at your friend's door.
Mm-hmm. It's probably aware of it by now because, yeah.
Well. Dogs will be mentioned in the story. But it's not as sad as your story.
I was watching a chase just a while ago, and the guy was like tweaking out on whatever, and he threw the dog out of the car. And then he crashed into these other cars. People did not care about him crashing into other cars or how the people were. They were real pissed about the dog. So everybody gets real mad about this dog situation.
Yeah. Well, that one's not sad. This is just, we're going to talk about a dog sitter.
Oh, hell.
Let's go to Idaho.
Idaho, Idaho, with a hose.
And let's talk about the Scream murder.
Ooh, wasn't okay.
I know.
Idaho?
In Idaho, and it's not Brian Koberger.
Yeah.
And I just heard of it yesterday, so I decided to do it. So let's go. And we're going to 2006. This is southern Idaho, and the place is called
Provo.
Pocatello.
Oh.
Pocatello, Idaho.
Provo's in Utah. Never mind. Sorry. Geography. They're real close.
Wait, Idaho, Utah. No, Idaho. So I get them all mixed up.
Well, they're right next door, and they're basically the same.
They're
next
all. Door?
Yeah.
Okay. We're in September, so it's like beginning of the school year, and a 911 call comes in September 24th. So a police officer gets dispatched to this 911 call, and this is a small town, so he recognizes the address. So he goes, and when he pulls up and goes inside the house, there's a dead teenager. She is a junior at Pocatello High School. Her name is Cassie Jo Stoddart. Cassie Jo Stoddart. Heard of it?
Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Jinx, the superfood-powered dog kibble everyone's been talking about. See the results for yourself and try their 1-month transformation. Within the first few weeks, you'll see how Jinx can help with your dog's energy, mood, and even digestion. And it's all thanks to the high-quality ingredients they use, like organic chicken, Atlantic salmon, and grass-fed beef. Try the 1-month transformation today. Find Jinx in your local Walmart.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
She had 2 brothers. She was the middle child. She was very close with her brothers. She was described as a great kid. She got straight A's. She wasn't like us. She didn't party. She didn't drink. She loved to read. She loved music. She lit up a room.
Oh, no. Was she bubbly?
She was probably bubbly.
No.
She was responsible and honest, and so people often hired her to babysit, dog sit, and house sit for them.
Is this my story? Kind of.
No,
except
because
for that she just doesn't drink or
and
do
she's
anything.
responsible.
She's responsible. Oh, Lord.
So let's talk about what happened to Cassie Jo.
Okay.
So on September 22nd, Cassie goes to go house sit for her aunt and her uncle. They call her up and they're like, we're going out of town for the weekend. They had 3 cats and 2 dogs. And they live like 20 minutes out of town. And they want her to come and watch the house. They had just bought this house. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was secluded, and they wanted her there for all the dogs.
I'm doing that in February.
Well,
for a week.
You better learn something from this then.
Okay.
So this was a Friday. So after school on Friday, her mom dropped her off, and her boyfriend's name is Matt Beckham. Now, her aunt and uncle and her mom loved Matt Beckham. They had been together. He's just great. He was responsible. They were just a good, responsible high school love couple. And he was coming over there to house sit with her. So they were going to do the things. They were going to watch TV, watch movies, eat snacks. The dogs were there, feed the dogs, do all the things.
Huh.
About 8:30 that evening, 2 other classmates showed up. Torey, a boy, Adamcik, and Brian Draper.
Okay.
So now there's 4 of them there, and all 4 of them hung out for a little over an hour. They watched Kill Bill Volume 2. They ate snacks, and they took like a little tour of the house because it's just this big country house, and they wanted to see the house. About 9:45, Torey and Brian decided to leave because they said Kill Bill sucks. We're going to go to the movies and watch ours that goes down to the basement. So the dog's sitting at the top of the stairs, barking and growling. So they get kind of freaked out because they're in the middle of nowhere and they're not used to this. And then the lights go off for a couple moments.
Okay.
And then they come back on.
Okay. Is there a storm?
It's not a storm.
Okay.
That happens twice.
Oh, hell no. Did the phone ring?
The phone does not ring yet.
Okay.
Actually, Matt's mom calls him. So boyfriend's mom calls and says, I'm on my way to come and pick you up because it's like a little after 10 o'clock. And he says, okay, but I want to stay. Can I stay here? It's a little scary out here. It's real dark. The electricity's gone out. I don't want Casey to be here by herself.
Yeah.
And she was like, sorry, absolutely not. You're 16 years old. They're both 16. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah.
And neither one of them drive. I'm coming to get you.
Mm-hmm.
So she's on her way. Now, when she got there, she says, if Casey wants to come, she can come and stay at our house. Okay?
You can't leave the dogs.
Well,
I mean, you can.
That's what Casey said. Casey was like, I made a commitment to watch the house.
Yeah, you can't leave the other people's dogs.
I'm not going to leave the dogs. I should stay. So she did. So it was about 11:15 when Matt left. So Casey's now there by herself. Now Matt's gone, and on the way home, he calls Torey and Brian that left earlier. Those are his friends. He called them up, and he's like, well, Casey's sitting for the weekend. I'll hang out with them this weekend. So he calls up Torey, and when Torey answers, he's whispering like this.
Oh, why is he whispering?
He's whispering, but he's like, hey, remember I'm in the movies. So they didn't get to talk very long. They hung up the phone. Oh, yeah. So Matt didn't think anything of it. He also called Casey when he got home because it's high school love, right?
Yeah.
So he also called Casey when he got home. High school love. What do? You talk on the phone. You fall asleep on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
You wake up the next day. You call in the morning. So, but Casey didn't answer the phone. So he was kind of worried about her because they were a little freaked out when they left. But maybe she fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next day was a Saturday, and it was September 23rd. And his mom had plans to run all these errands all day, so she was gone all day. He was calling to check on Casey periodically throughout the day, but he got no answer. So he called friend Torey and said, Torey,
you need a gum?
Could you drive me? Torey, could you drive me to where Casey was last night? I haven't heard from her. can't, and I just want to check on her. Can you drive me out there? And Torey was like, bro, I don't got any gas.
Bruh, no.
Sorry.
I mean, even though it was cheaper back then, still, no.
Can't
do
take
it.
you. So he decides to call Casey's mom. Shit. He calls Casey's mom, and he calls, and he's like, I'm trying to call Casey, and I can't talk to her. Have you talked to Casey? And Casey's mom is like, mad. No, I've been trying to get a hold of her too. I've called the house phone. I've called the cell phone, and I cannot talk to her. Like, she hasn't answering. So she was mad, like, I need her to answer the phone.
Yeah.
So when you talk to her, tell her to call me.
She's like, lady.
It's like something stabbing me right here.
That happened to me at New Year's, and I had to go into the bathroom, and I started crying. I mean, I like tears started coming out because I had.
The water just came right back up.
Content.
After New Year's, I got sick. I was sick for like 3 days.
You were kind of
New
sick
Year's
like
Eve.
before.
Yeah. So I drank tequila that whole night because my mom was like, do like my dad used to do, who was, no, go, drink tequila, it makes you real warm.
Makes
Make
you
you
warm?
better. Yeah, I mean, it's soothing.
Oh.
So it makes you
that's
feel better.
whiskey.
And I drank whiskey the night before. So I was like, okay, I feel fine. And the next morning, like, I was dead for just like 3 days, and it was over with.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I'm cured. It's gone. So,
okay, Casey's mom.
Casey's mom. I'm thinking about P. Diddy and Cassie.
I'm thinking about Stacy, because Stacy's mom.
It's got it going on. So,
A hot mess.
boyfriend was worried, mom was worried, but nobody ever went over there to go check on Casey. Even though this was out of character for Casey. And so
check on her. That's rude.
I know, but not everybody thinks worst case scenario like we do.
Oh, yeah, no.
So, and don't act like you would have went to go check on Casey. You'd have been like, well, she's feeding the dog.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah.
So now, by the time Matt's mom gets home, it's like later in the evening, Saturday, and she's like, I'll drive you out there if you want to. Let's go check on her. I'll take you. But Matt had already had plans for a sleepover. He's going to Torey's house to have a sleepover with Torey and Brian. And so he's like, no, don't worry about it. She's coming home tomorrow. I'll see her tomorrow. I'll talk to her tomorrow because she's staying Friday through Sunday. So, I mean, they're high schoolers. I guess the worry just kind of went away because it's Saturday night and he had plans.
And Torey, like, these are the friends, but Torey is a female.
No, they're both boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Torey and Brian are boys. So, the next day, on schedule, it was Sunday, Casey's aunt and uncle come home, and Casey's 13-year-old cousin, Kelsey. Kelsey walks in the house first, and she sees blood everywhere, and Casey's body on the floor. The house was a wreck. She's the one that calls 911.
Emergency 911.
I need an ambulance out of my house.
Okay, what's going on?
There's a girl dead on my floor. She's missing a finger.
It's real short. There's a dead girl on my floor. She's missing a finger. So she didn't realize at first.
Who is this that called
This
again?
is Kelsey. So remember, she's sitting at her aunt and uncle. So this is her cousin.
Okay.
Her little cousin. But the crime scene was so bad, I don't think it registered to her that she actually discovered her favorite big cousin, Casey, that was
She
dead
didn't
on
know
her
who
floor.
it was. She
Yeah,
just
I don't
knew-
think it just registered yet.
Yeah.
I think she was just like, there's a dead girl on my floor. So that was her. Casey had been stabbed over 30 times.
Oh, that's the, you know what, the one thing I don't want to be is stabbed.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I can't even handle a paper cut.
No.
Mm-mm.
12 of those were to her heart.
Oh, no. It's personal.
So what are you thinking, like, right now?
I have no idea.
No idea. Who do you think the first suspect is?
Well, the boyfriend.
Boyfriend. So, of course, police question boyfriend Matt. And a word gets around quick. It's small town. And the whole school is blaming Matt. Matt's a killer. Matt's a killer. So Matt and his mom go into the police department, and because he's underage, and so mom's in there while he's getting questioned. And they ask, where was Casey when you last saw her? Well, he tells them the whole story.
Yeah.
Even Matt's mom co-signs on his story.
Yeah.
Says Casey came to the door when I picked him up. She was alive. She waved. She was going to come over, but she was
Dog
dog
sitting and had to
sitting.
keep
Like
the
she made a
dogs.
commitment.
Yeah.
So, but the police noticed that his demeanor was very robotic. Like there wasn't a lot of emotion, and you just found out your girlfriend
Has been stabbed, brutally stabbed and murdered.
30 times, and you were the last person that saw
And
her.
your reaction is blah?
Blah.
Blah. Mm-mm.
So this seemed a little sus, but they realized that...
Then again, you never know how somebody's going to respond.
No. And they asked him to take a polygraph test, and he agreed.
Well, yeah.
And he passed with flying colors.
Flying colors, just like the Anthonys.
Yes, just like the Anthonys. And he was no longer considered a suspect at that time.
Okay.
Though they questioned him multiple times.
Yes.
Just
and
to
he
make sure
complied.
his story didn't change. Now, and that was the tactic of this Idaho. And I'm just going to have to applaud Idaho again. This was in 2006. They kicked ass last year with Moscow, with Koberger. When I hear this story, nothing in this story really made me talk shit about Idaho Police Department.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
Get killed in Idaho. If you're going to get killed, get killed in Idaho. So he was no longer a suspect. So if it's not boyfriend, who could have done this is what the popos are thinking. So they remember Matt telling them that the lights kept flickering on and off.
Mm-hmm.
No reports of a power outage. And so they're wondering if someone could have messed with the breakers. So they sent crime scene over there to try to see if there's any fingerprints on the little breaker switches.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. You're doing much better than the Ohio police who don't check vans.
They got fingerprints. Some fingerprints.
Yeah.
And it was a match to a local man that they knew. And this man happened to be close to Casey. It was her mom's boyfriend. Oh. So I didn't read anything about dad in the story, Casey's dad, but mom had a close living boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So
why would he be over there?
Why would his fingerprints be on the breaker box? Real weird. So they bring him in and they question him, and he actually does electrical work.
Oh, hell no. Damn it.
And he had done some work for them a while back after they, moved in. And that story checked out with the aunt and uncle. They asked, where was he? You got to quit moving that because we heard it the whole last two episodes. Is it in your way?
Mm-mm.
Or get it adjusted and then put it where you want it. Yeah. Remember, it was kept falling last time?
Yes.
So it was like driving you crazy. So
It's
you hear
perfect
it the
now.
whole-
It's
okay.
not. It's
Okay, so they asked him where he was. Where were you at? What was your alibi? like, because she was killed that Friday night. Where were you at? And so he's like, I was playing poker with the neighbors next door. I was there all night. They checked with the neighbors, his neighbors in town, not the neighbors of aunt and uncle. They co-signed on his alibi. So he was ruled out as a suspect. Okay. So now they're back to, like, who could have done this? Questioning Matt again. And Matt comes in, and he's like, I forgot to tell you that. Because they were like, was anybody else there?
I forgot to tell you I had my 2 best friends over there.
I forgot to tell you Torey and Brian were there. And they were like,
how did you forget?
Torey and Brian. And he was like, well, I was focused on, I was the last person there. They had left, 2 hours before I did. And they went to the movies. Yeah. So, police.
We're like, oh, we need to get all up on Torey and
they're like, great, we got somebody else to question. Let's get Torey and Brian. They were also at the house. Now, they're underage as well. So, they're questioned in 2 different rooms with their parents. And they said that they left the house to go see a movie. And they weren't really thinking much about these kids. But when they asked them what movie they saw, they went blank.
Oh, no. They forgot what movie they saw.
Well,
they
what
just
was it
saw
about? What was it about?
Yeah. Don't know.
They couldn't think of anything. So, but they didn't want to, they were just like.
Seems like a simple question.
Yeah. Asked them some other just like random questions, and then they let them go. Okay. They said, but don't go anywhere because we'll probably bring you back in for some questioning. And this was their tactic. They questioned the same people multiple times to see if their stories were changing. So when they let them go, they went up to the movie theater. They got the roster of movies that Friday night, times, and every movie that played.
And did they see Torey and Brian on the list?
Well, and then they questioned the ticket takers and the concession stand workers.
Because back in the day, it was actually people who took your tickets.
Yeah.
You didn't just.
And think a small town like a movie theater. And it just so happens that their classmate works up there.
Oh.
So their classmate would recognize if Torey and Brian were coming in.
Yeah.
So he interviewed movie theater classmate, and Torey and Brian were nowhere near the movies.
They were not there. They were not seen.
So they brought them back in, and they were like, we actually talked to the movie theaters, and you didn't go.
You weren't there.
You weren't there.
Nope, you weren't.
And Torey was like, I think it was Brian.
We went to the movie theater 30 minutes away.
He was like, oh, well, we didn't want to tell you. I was trying to keep this a secret, but.
We were doing it in the parking lot.
We
didn't make it into the movie.
We were checking going through vehicles, and they were like, what?
What?
Yeah, we were checking cars that were unlocked, going through parking lots. If cars were unlocked, we were rummaging through the cars looking for things to steal. Okay, so
what?
Now this is one of them telling this story. This is Brian telling this story, or Torey telling this story. And the police were like, oh, well, what parking lot were you in? And he was like, oh, I don't know. Torey was driving, Brian was driving. I don't know where we were. So he came up with a good answer, but it changed. So in the other room, the other one's telling a whole different story. So they were like, you know what? Let's just clear this up. Y'all are going to take a polygraph test. That's how we ruled out boyfriends. Mm-hmm. That's how we ruled out mom's boyfriend. Let's take a polygraph test. Parents, do we have your permission? Parents are like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they go out. They get the polygraph person. They come back in, and Brian is crying.
Oh, no. What happened? Did he get a cough and he got tear come out? Or what?
He's crying, and he's real red, and he's like, I got to tell y'all something.
Oh, what do you need to tell us, Brian? Aye, Captain.
He says this is all Torey's fault.
Oh, no. Throwing under the... I keep thinking it's a her. Throwing his buddy under the bus and running him over.
It was supposed to be a joke. We were supposed to reenact a scary movie, and we were just supposed to scare Casey.
Oh, well, what happened?
But we were not supposed to hurt her.
No.
So they were like, tell me.
What are you even saying?
What are you talking about? So, turns out, when they were there watching the movie, Kill Bill Volume 2, they did their little tour of the house. Brian walked down the stairs to the basement and unlocked the basement door that goes to outside. When they left, they did not leave. They just drove down the road.
And watched and waited for
and walked back. And snuck in the basement. They flickered the lights to try to get them to come down to the basement to scare them. And they were going to video it scaring them, and everything was going to be this big old trick. But they didn't come down to the basement. And they tried to scare them again, and they didn't come down. And then Matt left, and Torey went crazy, went upstairs, and stabbed and killed Casey. He had no idea that that was the plan. It was all Torey. He just stayed down and screamed and cried in fear.
Yeah, he was scared of Torey.
He was scared of Torey. So then the police go back into the other room with Torey, and they're like, Torey, your friend's in there talking. Tell me what really happened. And Torey's like, we were trying to steal shit in cars. Like, give me a lawyer. You don't believe me? Give me a lawyer. So he lawyers up.
You should have done lawyered up about 2 days ago.
When the lawyer finally comes in, he tells the story, but he's blaming it all on Brian. Right? That's how it does. Well, usually when there's two killers. So the story is about the same thing. So it turns out when Matt called them up and they whispered on the phone, they were in the basement. The call was coming from inside the house.
Sounds like a movie I've seen.
Torey showed up with a dagger.
A dagger?
Brian showed up with a hunting knife.
What are they, hunting vampires over here or something?
They both had on white masks that had red blood splatter. There's pictures of them.
White face?
It was like white. It was a white mask with red blood coming out of the eyes and out of the mouth.
Oh!
It was like a red Halloween mask. They stabbed her 30 times, 12 of them being to the heart. She fought her ass off, which is why she was missing a finger.
Gosh.
And then they left her body there and fled the scene.
Of course.
Now, they were booked and they were held on bond. But all they have really is Brian's testimony and Torey's testimony, but they're both blaming it on each other. The autopsist said there are 2 separate stab wounds. So that leads me to believe both you motherfuckers were stabbing.
Oh, yeah,
Where
the direction of it was you could tell it was
and it's
two different knives.
And
angles.
2 different knives.
Yeah.
One was more serrated than the other.
Oh, shit. What? They're
taking turns.
What? Okay.
So
were they on anything? Did they eat the brownie cookie? Or
they ate whatever
that person's my friend's dog ate?
What's so crazy is you won't hear anything about drugs or even about mental health. So Brian led investigators. So Brian's the one that's talking a whole lot. He leads investigators to a place in a canyon right off the road, about 20 minutes away from where they killed Casey. And they dig a little bit. And when they pull something out of the ground, it's the mask. It's the gloves, bloody gloves that they had on. 3 knives and a VHS tape.
Oh, hell.
VHS.
That to me, that is porn or what's it called? Where it's like dirty porn, like where it's
snuff porn. So police were like, "What is on this tape?
Okay.
We need it. Is it hitting the thing?
I'm.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We need to see what's on this tape. Now, it had all been partially burned, so they sent it off to see if they can recover what was on this tape, and they could. So they all sat down, and they think they're about to watch the murder.
Oh no!
But they're not.
They're watching a sex tape. They're watching was it part of Epstein's files that they found buried? I think it might have been.
Oh, hell.
We're here in his car.
September 22nd.
Time is 9:50. September 22nd, 2006. Unfortunately, we have the grueling task of killing our two friends. And they are right in that house just down the street.
We just talked to them. We were there for an hour. But
we checked out the whole house. We know there's lots of doors. There's lots of places to hide. I locked the back doors, so it's all locked. Now we just gotta wait. And yeah, we're really nervous right now, but we're ready.
We're listening to the greatest rock band
We've
ever,
waited for this for a long time.
Pink Floyd, before we commit the ultimate crime of murder.
We waited for this for a long time.
A long time.
We'll stay tuned. Just killed Cassie. We just left her house. This is not a fucking joke.
I'm shaking.
I stabbed her in the throat, and I saw her lifeless body just disappear. Dude, I just killed Cassie. Oh, fuck. That felt like it wasn't real. I mean, it went by so fast.
Shut the fuck up. We gotta get our act straight.
It's okay. Okay, let's buy movie tickets now.
Okay.
Come on. Goodbye.
No.
Goodbye.
Okay.
It's Cassie.
It must be spelled differently.
No, it's Cassie.
Why the hell you think that means Casey?
I don't know.
Oh, hell. April on crack. So this is like it's like the Snapchat murders, because they are filming this on like an actual camcorder.
Yes.
That has camcorder. Okay. And it reminds me of those two high school kids that killed their teacher.
Yes.
And they did the Snapchat stuff. And they completely admitted, like, it's like when you're young, obviously you don't think past what you do, but I mean, who videotapes this and like, oh yeah, we just murdered, like, what?
So
Cassie.
They watched this.
Now we know that her name's Cassie.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Cassie. So they watched this. The first part was before they committed the murder. So when they left and they got back into the car, and then right afterwards they turned on the camcorder. Okay, now this is September 21st, and
Caught, Ryan. If we're going for guns, we're just gonna end it. We're just gonna grab the guns and get out of there, kill everybody, and leave.
We're going to make history. We're gonna make history.
For all you FBI agents watching this, you weren't quick enough.
We were quick enough, and you weren't smart enough. And we're going over today, Nixon's house. We're gonna go snoop around over there and try to see if she's home alone or not. And if she's home alone.
Oh, they're trying to go to another house and do it again.
So this was the day before the murders.
Oh.
So they tried on September 21st to kill somebody else. So they were going to their house. So they had been planning to commit these murders. but they showed up. They're going to show in a second that they pulled up and they weren't home alone. And so later on, it'll tell us, I guess we got to resort to killing our friends, because they are going to later find out that their friends will be alone later on. So they were going to kill Matt, their good friend, and Cassie. But Matt left. And the only reason why Matt wasn't killed is because his mom made him go home.
Oh, my gosh.
But listen to how they talk about murder, how they justify it. And like they just said, you FBI agents that are watching this, you're too late.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Like they're just very much taunting.
They're Splash! She did.
Don't put your humor into this, Brian.
I'm not putting humor into it. Yep. People will die. Memories will fade.
Memories will fade. I wonder what movie you got that from, Brian.
Myself. That was for myself.
No wonder it was so lame.
Okay, we're on our way, and I'll let you stay tuned. We're almost there. Dixon's house. It's clear out there in the pasture. We've already snooped around her house a couple times. She's not home, so we're gonna go to the church over there, and we're gonna call a girl and a guy named Cassie and Matt. They're our friends, but we have to make sacrifices. So I feel tonight it is the night, and I feel really weird, inside my stomach and stuff, and I feel like I want to kill somebody. I know that's not normal, but what the hell?
I feel we need to break away from normal life.
How bright is this light?
Because, let's put it this way. Parents, along with their parents, and so on, taught them about God, Jesus, the whole bullshit line. I'm sure you guys believe in God as well. I realized when I was in 7th grade, you don't believe in Santa Claus or vampires or werewolves. They're used to metaphor, not to let. They teach their kids back in the 1800s, I learned this in English class, about telling their kids that you can't go outside or a vampire will get you, just to make their kids stay and do what they want to do. God is basically the same way.
Yep.
Trying to get people to do good, or else, so-called, you go to hell.
And we're obviously going to hell if it's real, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, and why would you
but it's
say
not real?
real?
It's not real, because it's so blatantly obvious it's not real, but
people believe it because their parents teach them, and so it's so hard for them to let go of it because they've been taught their whole life.
Yeah, I know.
But fucking the point I'm making is we are also taught that things like killing people and other thing is wrong. The only thing that it's wrong about is because it's breaking the law, and the law is only wrong. The law
Natural selection, dude.
Because
natural selection. That's all I gotta say.
There should be no law against killing people. I know it's a wrong thing, but hell, you restrict somebody from it, they're gonna want it more.
Exactly. Goodbye.
Wait, this kid looks like a whole hot mess. Like he's like blinking, like moving around, and
well, he's blinking because the light's
Which
real
one
bright.
is that one?
That is Torey.
That one that was just talking is Torey. And the one that is recording it is
Brian.
Brian. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, they have those nasally voices.
Yes.
Like they're just. What? What are these people's
the evilness
coming from? Like they're like, oh, just what? Why do you need to kill your friends? And why are you playing Mozart like that? And I'll let you tell the story because I'm sure you'll tell us everything.
Well, it goes on and it goes on.
Yeah, that's
it's about
like
30 minutes worth of video, but so a little bit in the next couple of minutes here, they say we're going to do just like Scream. I want to be like the movie Scream. And then they talk about their favorite serial killers.
Oh, no.
They compare themselves to Ed, but they said the name wrong. Probably like I say it, Gain.
Ed Gein?
Yeah, Gein. They compare themselves to the Hillside Strangler and to Ted Bundy.
And how are they even remotely like any of them?
I don't. They just want to be famous.
Yeah, they just want to be. Yeah. Okay.
And then they are obsessed with school shooters and the Columbine shooters. So then the police find out that Brian, not the one in this video, the other one, there's a dark-haired one, he actually has a commemorative Columbine shooting dedicated like website where he does list all the victims. But if you keep looking down at the bottom of the website, it says,
what, Dylan and what's...
There will be more victims soon. Part of this video is them going through their kill list. They have a kill list. It's like a dozen people on there, but they're supposed to end it with the school shooting. So they start off with the stabbing that they wanted to video and make their own scary movie, like Scream.
Oh, my God. So they did video the actual...
They didn't video the stabbing, but they wanted to video enough of this so that somebody else makes a scary movie about them.
Oh, my gosh. But Scream had already been...
made, yeah. Scream came out in 96, I think. Okay. So they filmed themselves skipping class in the library as they're making their death list of about a dozen people that they wanted to kill and how they wanted it to end in a school shooting. They filmed the morning of the killing, so the 22nd at school. They filmed Cassie at her locker, hanging out with her. So I just like imagined Cassie's mom, her last hours on video that you want to see, but like her killers are videoing her. Gosh. They also find out that they're obsessed with scary movies and serial killers and all this stuff. Now, at the end of the video, it ends at their locker. And in their lockers were like the tall. I don't know what you had. Our lockers were just like, somebody had a locker under me. So there's bottom ones and top ones.
It was like junior high was one and high school was the other.
Okay, so theirs was like all the way down. So it was one big long locker.
Yeah.
So when you opened up their locker, there had different pictures of all the different like famous scary movies. So like the Scream posters were in there, like just little cutouts. Friday 13th, Halloween, Evil Dead. And they also had their trench coat hanging up in there and the type of cigarettes that Eric and Dylan had in their trench coat pocket.
Which are the Columbine shooters.
And then the last thing was saying, when y'all make a movie about us, I want you to basically honor my wish and make sure that the actor that plays me, this was Torey saying this, looks just like me. I want the actor.
No, there's no actor
just
that
like
looks
me.
That gross.
And Brian was like, "Yeah, me too. I second that."
Okay. Brian's the follower. Torey's obviously the leader. Okay.
So
or Brian. Wait, which one wears the strap on?
They were tried separately, obviously, for first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. They were both tried as adults, and they both got life sentences plus 30 years for the conspiracy charge. The trial, like the...
Did they plead not guilty?
I don't know. I don't know if it ever even said. I'm
Well,
sure
'cause
if they had a full trial.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what's like if they had a full trial.
But I don't know what their. See, I know their lawyers tried to get all the video thrown out, but it didn't work. It was played in court. I know that the jury was not sanctioned, was sequestered.
Oh.
And the trial, it was like a big trial. Now, during that trial, Torey's family, so the crazy looking one that had the most fun doing it, he still maintains his innocence. He says it was all Brian, and his parents believe him. And his mom
Did they not see the video?
His mom even wrote a book about it, and it's called The Guilty Innocent.
Wow, the creativity. You really went above and beyond with your title.
So I watched a documentary. It's called The Last Day. It's a Dateline, so Keith Morrison did it, and it showed them at the end. But even on this, when he talks about what he did, he's smiling.
But she's, after all, the guilty innocent.
Take this off.
Where?
Torey's a good kid, and Torey's just a kind person, and we're still family. He's still every bit as much a part of our family as before.
I remember the first article I read about my case.
He's smiling.
Jeez, I mean, they made me sound like this brutal, cold, psychopathic killer.
We were talking about Brian. They were making you just like Brian.
They put us like as the same person.
He still didn't commit this crime.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not saying that. He's not saying that.
I made some mistakes and I learned from them.
But your mistakes weren't anything you were charged with. They weren't the murder.
Those are the parents?
Those are the parents.
The mistakes are you made a video. They're saying the mistakes are. They're like, oh, you killed a girl, but the mistakes, you shouldn't have made a video. But it's fine that you killed her. That's what I heard.
Convictions in the 2006 murder of Cassie Jo Stoddart.
I owe a tremendous debt to you, Cassie Stoddart, and the only way that I can even start you paying that is to, first of all, tell exactly what happened to her, and do not dishonor her in anything that you do in your life. And I've tried that. It's very hard. But I think that it's all I can do, and I have an obligation. I have to do that, or I'm a monster, I guess.
Later, Brian at least would take some accountability for what he did. At least he was.
I don't believe either one of them. I 100% think both of them have no empathy.
I think
he was trying to get. I think he was just trying to think of words to say. But he is the one that has expressed the most sorrowful, whether he feels it or not.
Right.
He actually called Keith Morrison, on the Dateline. He called in, and he said that basically he blames scary movies, and that
okay, bro,
filming it, you feel like there's an audience, and so you feel cheered on, and that you feel like you feel like a sense of fame, and that it's just all the scary movies. So Torey, the real crazy one, has appealed his many times, but it's been dismissed. They are both in the same Idaho state prison together, but they are not friends. They see each other in passing and at cafeteria and lunchtime and stuff, but they are not friends. Now, Cassie's family, of course, lived a nightmare for the rest of their life. The mom ended up dying of cancer. But right after the murder, the high school painted a mural of Cassie on the outside of the building. Their football team wore her initials on their armbands for years. The aunt that the house was, that the murder happened in the house, was so distraught she lost her job. The uncle divorced and left the family.
Oh, no.
And the little cousin that found her attempted suicide.
Oh, God. They ruined so many lives. These stupid and those stupid their parents. I'm pissed at their parents too.
Oh, I know. And their adopted parents. So he's adopted. That one
Unadopt.
Unadopt. That's even easier.
Unadopt. Bye. See ya. Go and adopt somebody else.
They tried to sell that house and they could not sell it.
I bet you would
and
buy it.
It was their dream home. Like they had just bought it out there on this land. It's just horrible. Horrible.
I do remember this. I remember the name, at least the last name, obviously. And that I remember bits and pieces. I remember they recorded, but I didn't know the whole ins and outs of everything. So that was a good story.
I have not heard of that. Soupy sent that to me.
Really?
I was like, another Scream killer? Because I did the Rollins. Daniel Rollins or whatever.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of similarities. It's because that they referenced Scream so much in the video.
I think the Scream was based on Danny Rawlings, right?
Yeah.
Was it Scream based on his murders?
Yes.
And so then they wanted to they copied the movie. Yeah.
And they wore the mask and they had the type of knife. And the fact that she was home alone and they tried to be famous. They wanted movies made behind them, but no. It was really
that is so just waste. You are a waste.
It's disgusting. And if you watch, because the interrogation is on video too. So Brian is the one that confesses first right before the polygraph. So he's sitting there crying, and his parents are just kind of sitting there with their arms crossed like this. The mom is just sitting there with their arms crossed looking at him. And I don't know what the perfect reaction is, but I would have probably had a heart attack.
I would think so. Or I'd be
died. Or jumped across, I don't know, but I don't think that I would have just sit there with my arms crossed.
Be like, what?
And the dad was just rubbing his elbow or something like that. It's just so weird.
Well, obviously these parents have taught them about nothing because they talked about how did they talk about the parents were religious? They weren't religious.
They were saying that
people learned religion from their parents
and their parents and their parents. So it sounded like he said that his parents told him about Tooth Fairy and Santa and God and everything, but generations of people lie to you about these things. So he's comparing the Tooth Fairy fairy tale to God and heaven. It's just, it's the worst.
You have no chance. You can go and be with the Nepophilia, and you can just live your worst life with those demon giants. Well, great story. That was good. That was a good one.
Real evil.
Yeah.
Real evil. And then that young, that's what gets me. It's what? And then I can watch those scary movies all day long. So what's the difference?
I've never had the urge after I've watched a scary movie or talked about 130 true crime episodes that I'm going to I think,
it's time.
I think it's time. Yeah. I'm going to go stab somebody.
And then what gets me is how do you
videotape
find a friend?
about it?
Yeah, you videotape, but then how do you find a friend just as psycho on the same level that's willing to do it? Like your Snapchat people that killed the teacher.
Yeah.
How do...
It's got to be something with their brains and their friends and their talk. I don't know how teenage boys are, and apparently I don't
This
wanna find
story and your story, the
Yeah.
Snapchat. Okay, so there's a movie with Sandra Bullock called Murder by Numbers.
out. Oh.
You need to watch it. It's
Does
a
she talk
longer
about
movie.
adrenochrome and eating children.
This is before she was a whatever she is,
Okay.
a baby blood drinker. But and then Ryan Gosling is in it. But she's a
I mean, I'm sold on those two. Sandra Bullock's hot. Ryan Gosling's hot.
Uh-huh.
Let's go. Yeah.
But Ryan Gosling is a killer, but he has a friend that he goes to school with that's a killer.
I would be okay
And
with
they
a hot killer.
plan to kill a teacher.
What is it called?
Murder by Numbers.
Murder by Numbers?
But they know they are obsessed with serial killers, so they know they have it perfectly planned out. The forensic, the detail, they even set up somebody else to go down for the killing. Sandra
Is
Bullock
this
is
old?
the investigator. It's a little bit older. It's like early 2000s. Sandra Bullock is the investigator that comes in and peeps them out and finds the truth. But I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm going to make my nephew watch it.
Okay, I want to watch it too.
But it is so good. But it reminded me of this because it's just like two friends that just are obsessed with murder and decide to commit one on their own.
2002 is when it happened.
Yeah.
Or when it came out.
It's so good. Watch it and report back on Thursday.
It's on Prime Video.
Okay.
You got to rent it?
Even if you have Prime Video? Is that the only place it is?
I don't know.
Y'all go watch Murder by Numbers.
Psychological thriller.
Yes.
I love a psychological thriller.
Now it's long, Caroline.
But I
think
can
it's like
get
2
into
hours.
I can get Fatal. Everybody needs to go watch Fatal Attraction.
The old one? Like the original?
Is there a new one? No. Yeah, the
Was
old
it
one.
redone?
No.
Oh.
I just was
okay.
thinking about the movies like that.
Yeah. Okay, that is it. I don't know how long that was, but
that
there
was
you
great.
go. There you go.
Disclaimer, we need to do a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode that the name is wrong.
Sorry, I know. Sorry. I think I've screwed it up enough times to where it went back and
I
forth.
know.
but
I know.
I hate it. I hate it. But isn't that how Casey Turner spells it?
No.
Cassie?
Mm-mm.
How'd she spell it?
Casey.
Oh. I don't know how I was saying Cass. I don't know. I'm confusing myself. Sorry, Stoddart family. All right. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF, and
y'all.
make sure that your dogs don't eat the chocolate weed brownies. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at @bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
And you didn't say hi.
I didn't. You just kept going. I'm going to introduce the book. I'm not reading it.
It's
because I don't like reading.
Girls like cowboy butts, and those jeans don't hide anything. Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on RogueMediaNetwork.com.
Hey, I'm Katie. And I'm Summer. And this is Monsters in the Attic. So we thought we'd bring people on.
Yeah, it's very real, and we're fortunate to have a lot of friends who have a lot of monsters, and we can't wait to share them with you.
I love that we're so fortunate that we have so many friends with so many monsters. Where can people find us?
Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere they listen to their favorite podcast.
They can find me at my therapist office.
As they should.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.